as to how I got into film. I always wanted to get into film. And when I was about 6, I started out by wanting to be Miss America. Then, as I became a little older, I decided I wanted to be an actress. And we happened to be in Greece one summer, and one of my uncles, who was a producer of films here in Greece, was making a film that required a young girl to be, to act in it. And so, I asked my mother, could you please ask him if I could do it? Could you please ask him? And so she said, fine. And she did, and he said, fine. The only problem was I didn't speak Greek at the time. So, they said, oh, it doesn't matter. You just have to learn to mouth the words, and then we'll dub you. So I'm going to give you a little intro to the film because someone found it and brought it to me. It's a very bad quality because it's off at the TV set and on a DVD, on a video, cassette tape, and so forth. But just as an intro to it, the story is about a man who's a widower and has a daughter. And he's suddenly, sees his wife again, or not suddenly, somehow they come together. And he's told his daughter, though, that her mother had died because he was so upset with her mother that she had supposedly, had an affair with another man, that he decided to banish her. And so his way of redefining his reality and his daughter's reality was to say that she was dead, period. Over, nothing to deal with, nothing to have to worry about. But now he sees her again, and he brings her back and tries to bring her into the family again. So can we have the clip, please?
Θυμάσαι, παπά, που είχαμε πάει στο θέατρο? Τι ωραία που ήταν. Μόνο που θα ήθελα να ξαναπάμε, για να μου εξηγήσει μερικά πράγματα.
Βεβαίως. Μπορείς όμως να συζητάς τέτοια θέματα και με την Αλίκη. Έχει διαβάσει πολύ και ξέρει περισσότερα από μένα.
Αλήθεια, κυρία?
Ναι, Ανούλα. Μπορείς να με ρωτάς ό,τι θέλει.
Ευχαριστώ, κυρία.
Μα γιατί λες κυρία την Αλίκη?
Πώς πρέπει να τη λέω, μπαμπά?
Μα μπορείς να τη λες Αλίκη. Ή και μητέρα ακόμα, μια που τώρα έχει τη θέση της μητέρας σου.
Δεν πρόκειται να την πω ποτέ μητέρα. Και δεν πρόκειται ποτέ μια ξένη να πάρει τη θέση της μανούλας μου. Θα ακούτε? Ποτέ. Μπορεί να μπήκατε στο σπίτι μου, αλλά στην καρδιά μου δεν πρόκειται να μπείτε. Ποτέ. Θα είσαστε πάντα μια ξένη. Μια ξένη, τα ακούτε? Και εσύ την ξέχασες τελείως τη μανούλα. Έπαψες πια να μιλάς για αυτήν. Ξέχασες με μιας πόσο καλή ήταν και πόσο ευτυχισμένοι είσαστε μαζί. Τα ξέχασες όλα. Έτσι. Όλα. Εγώ όμως θα την αγαπώ πάντα. Και δεν θα την απαρνηθώ ποτέ. Ποτέ.
Δεν φανταζόμουν ποτέ πως μπορεί να είναι τόσο σκληρό παιδί.
Δεν είναι σκληρή. Υπερασπίζεται τη μνήμη της μητέρας της όπως την έμαθες. Δεν χρειάζεται να κάνεις τίποτα. Έχω πολύ υπομονή. Μόνο που είναι πολύ πικρό. Πολύ πικρό.
Okay, I'm glad you're laughing because I'd be really, there'd be something wrong if you weren't laughing. But that's what happens with hindsight, So as you saw, the little girl can't possibly accept another woman taking the place of her mother, who was, built up into this great woman. And the melodrama unfolds, how is the mother going to come in and that sort of thing. But I'll spare you the melodrama of what happens in the story, and I'll get back to what happened to me from that. And that was that I didn't, my mother did a perfect job in terms of helping me understand that it's different to, the allure of wanting to be an actress from the reality of wanting to be one. And so basically that was it for my career as an actress. Yeah, done. Many years later, what happened was, I went to college. Actually, I got a bachelor's in economics from NYU. And then for graduate school, I decided I wanted to do quantitative analysis. But after the first semester, it didn't quite sit right with me. And I decided instead to take a summer course in filmmaking. And then I used that film that I made during that summer course and I applied to the graduate film school. And they accepted me. So I was back in film, but I wasn't in front of the camera. Now I was interested in being behind the camera, which allowed me to do things that I thought, that I wanted to do. Now, the film school at that time was primarily interested in teaching about narrative film, fiction film. Everyone wanted to become Scorsese. And in fact, a couple of years ahead of me was Jim Jarmusch. And I remember that it was a big scandal because the faculty wanted to kick Jim Jarmusch out because they felt his films were too strange. So soon afterwards, I realized that manufacturing reality was not what I wanted to do. I did not want to create stories. Rather, I wanted to tell stories about real people in real situations, and as much as possible in their own words. I wanted to document reality, and I was attracted to stories where people wanted to change or improve something in their lives, thus redefining their reality. But any story, even a documentary, has to engage people in a compelling story. So in the documentaries I make, I don't write the stories. I can only follow them. They're called observational or cinema verite or fly on the wall. And not that we don't put our salt and pepper in, but primarily we get our inspiration from the people that we choose to be in our films. And sometimes, though, it doesn't work out because there is that element of spontaneity that we don't, as directors, control. So an example of that was a few years ago when what happened was that the Dublin II Treaty, which was for illegal immigrants coming into a European country, it was enforced for the first time, even though it had existed for many years, a few years ago in Greece, because Greece has a problem enforcing laws. They have many laws, but they have trouble enforcing them. So what happened then was that when they decided that they were going to enforce it, suddenly they stopped and they collected all the illegal immigrants. And islands and various areas became full of illegal immigrants that were being held, whereas otherwise they had been let go to move on because no illegal immigrant was coming into Greece to stay in Greece. Most, if not all, illegal immigrants were using Greece because it was easy to get into Greece as a pathway to get through to the rest of Europe. So when I heard, though, that there were all these people that were stuck on Leros, and they had been there for a while, and that there were underage children there as well, I decided to see for myself what was going on. And I took my camera and I went there. The conditions were quite difficult. There were children, women, underage children, there were teenagers who had left on their own, 15 and 16-year-olds. That were making their way to Western Europe. And I met a boy there who was called Omar, who spoke English. He was older, though. He wasn't underage. He must have been about 20 years old. And he was trying to make his way to England. And what happened was, to make a long story short, because I see I'm running out of time, is that he tried to... they eventually brought them to Athens, and then they put them into a camp which was used as a summer camp for Greek children. So when he was in the in that camp, and they had transferred everyone, everyone started escaping. And I get this call, and he says to me, everyone's escaping from here. Why am I staying here? Can you help me leave? And I said, no, it's illegal. I can't help you do anything. You have to stay there. He goes, but everyone's leaving. I'm the only one here. So eventually he managed to find a way to get out, and he made his way to Patra. When he was in Patra, he called me again, and he said, I'm in Patra, and I'm making my way to Italy. So I go and I meet him there, and I see him in the Afghan encampment that was at Patra, which was really quite a horrendous place. And here he was, this very excited person who I'd met originally, in the beginning, who wanted to make his way to England. Suddenly, all the life had just drained out of him because he knew that he would risk his life, but in a real way, if he tried to make that crossing. So he decided then to come back with me, back to Athens. And then when we were back in Athens, as I was following him and I tried to help him get a visa to the States and so forth, he said to me one day, I can't continue filming anymore because I've decided I'm going to make my own way, and I have to disappear. And in fact, that was it. I didn't see him again, and that was the end of my film because that was the last I heard of him, and I lost my character, and that was it. A few months later, though, I received an email, and it was from Omar. All it said was, "Greetings from Edinburgh." He had succeeded. I never completed my film because it might have jeopardized his new redefined reality, but I was happy for him. These are the risks in making documentary films about real people in real situations who are trying to redefine their realities. Unlike the film I showed you a clip of, which had a happy ending, as most fiction films do, I can't write a great ending or change the course of things in my documentaries, but I can try to be there to document individual acts of intellectual and emotional rebellion which redefine people's reality. That's what I want to share with my audiences, and in an effort to bring people closer to each other by giving them a peek into a world they would otherwise never see. Thank you.